Welcome to Release Readiness Live. We're here to talk about Winter 19. We have some fun with us today, getting our winter gear on, even though it's still summer for some of us. I'm Jillian Bruce. I am a senior admin evangelist here at Salesforce. I'm also the host of the Salesforce Admins podcast. Hopefully you all downloaded the amazing episode yesterday. It's Aloha Friday here at Salesforce, and it's also Winter 19, so we've got our fun ready to go. We are here to talk to you about all the amazing things coming in Winter 19. And to tell you about those amazing things, we have the actual product managers here to talk to you about the features that are going to make you an even more awesome admin. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves because they're going to do themselves more justice than I will. So Michael, introduce yourself to us.
Absolutely. Michael Gonzalez. I am going to share some great, awesome new Lightning features with you today. So excited about it.
Excellent.
Hey, I'm Vladimir. So we're going to talk about custom metadata types today again. And I have some bonus material that you will be very excited to hear about, I swear.
My name is Francois Lopitaux, and I'm going to represent all the work done by the analytics teams.
And I'm Jason Teller, PM on the process automation team. Got a lot of great announcements for you this session, and a sneak peek of something you may not have seen before.
All right, so there's a lot of intrigue, I'm sure, from everyone who's hearing what you're talking about. I bet you're wondering how you can engage with us, and for that, I'm going to throw it over to our Salesforce Admins live broadcaster, Rachel Mincarelli. Rachel, take it away.
Thanks, Jillian. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Astro and I are really looking forward to answering your questions and hearing everything that you're wondering about Winter 19. So to get engaged with us today, go on the Trailblazer community to the Release Readiness group. That's where you're going to ask those deeper, more discussion-building questions. And then feel free to give us your shout-outs and shorter questions on Twitter. And for both of those, be sure to use the hashtag Salesforce Live. So we'll answer as many as we can off of that Salesforce Live hashtag, either from the Trailblazer community or Twitter. But if we don't get to it live, don't worry. We will have people in the Trailblazer community and on Twitter after the broadcast to make sure that your questions get answered. So we're really looking forward to it today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Rachel. So you heard it from her. Don't hesitate to get engaged with us. We are monitoring your questions online right now. So now, without further ado, let's get into some of these amazing features. Michael, tell us about the amazing things coming for Lightning, for admins in Winter 19.
Absolutely. So I'm excited about presenting this stuff to you today because these are features that our community has given us a hard time over. They said, you guys need to deliver this as soon as possible. We need it yesterday. So the community had a major influence on delivering these two things today. The first one is setting up and having a new compact view available for your end users. So this takes areas of the page, like for example, the record details, and creates more space for it. So we've created 30% more space. End users can go in, they can control this themselves. And it's pretty awesome. If they said, wait, we want this layout to look a little bit more like the classic, this is the feature that's going to enable them to go ahead and do that. And we're going to continue to work on this area, so keep giving us feedback on it. I'm going to go ahead and demo it for you, show you how easy it is for your end users to go there and interact and use this feature. Plus, show you how, from the admin side, how you can configure this.
Michael, I'm sorry, I have to pause you really quick. I got reminded that I totally forgot one of the most important slides of this entire presentation, and that is our forward-looking statement slide.
Yes.
So, with everything Michael just said, keep that in mind, that we are a publicly traded company and that you should only make purchasing decisions based on currently available features and functionality. With that, back to you, Michael.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry about that.
And that is important because I am going to talk a little bit about some pilot stuff pretty shortly here too. So the next one is dynamic lightning pages. So it's been a huge feature. We've had it out in the wild for a year, and customers have been adopting it like crazy. And they've been really excited that they can go in, create these dynamic experiences without knowing how to write code. And we're extending the functionality that we have today. We are able to add rules based with permissions. So admins can go in, they can use their standard permissions and their custom permissions to control component visibility. So super excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and get into a demo and show you both these awesome new things.
We love demos.
Okay, so first up, I'm going to show you how our users can go in and activate this new view. So here I've got my Electron Motors org. I'm in the shoes of an end user, and I have the out-of-the-box view of things here on the page. So you can see this is how we have things configured today. And it's actually really easy for end users to go in and control this. So up here in the menu, we'll have a new option, and you can see display density. So they can go ahead and choose between comfy, which is our out-of-the-box configuration for it. So if they've been using Lightning already, this will be familiar to them. That's what they're going to see when they first launch it. But then we have this new option called compact. So if I go in and I click into that one, you can see that the page is now reloaded, and the record details you see here, so all those labels that we had sitting up on top of the fields are now pushed to the left, so it's freed up more space. This, we've gone and measured it. It gives about 30% more space on the screen, so you can work a bit more efficiently. And it impacts a bunch of areas on the page, not just details, but things like the highlights panel, things like chatter. Those are all what we call densified. So we've created a bunch of extra real estate. Hopefully we'll go ahead and let your end users come in and be more productive with this feature.
I know people have been asking for that a lot, so that's a huge win for admins.
Absolutely. And like I mentioned, we still want your feedback on it, and we want end users to go ahead and give us that feedback too. So one of the things we want to mention is that they can give us feedback directly here in that help menu. So give feedback about Salesforce. Let us know how we're doing with this. We're still exploring the designs for it, so we're going to have these two options today, but we're definitely open to hearing more about providing 2 or 3 options or even more so down the line. So let us know how we're doing. And from the admin side of things, if you want to go ahead and you want to configure what that default experience is like, you simply go into Setup, and you can determine whether or not the compact or the comfy view is set as the default. So if out of the box, it's still comfy, but if you want your users to go in and always see compact, maybe you're just bringing in a new set of users into Lightning and you want them to always have that compact experience, so it looks and behaves a little bit more like that classic view, you can have that configuration right here, so they don't need to go to the menu and configure it themselves. So it's pretty nice, really, really convenient, really awesome that we got to deliver this.
That's awesome. Great work.
Thank you. And the other thing I want to mention is I'm going to go ahead and show you how we build that dynamic experience. So we've got this case page, and let's go ahead and add a rule here to this case page based on a permission. So we go into our setup menu, we hit edit page, and that page loads it up in App Builder. I'm sure you've heard me present this before, but App Builder is what we call our WYSIWYG tool. It's what you see is what you get. So it takes all the guesswork out of going through and customizing these pages. And let's say that on this particular case page, I want to add a rule to the chatter feed and say, hey, I only want this chatter feed to show up under a certain condition, only if the person has the ability to edit case. So it's really easy to set that up. I go in, I'll click on that chatter feed, and you see here all the components. They have anything you click on the page, whether it's custom or standard, has this option to set component visibility. I'll click into advanced, click field. And then you'll have a couple of options here. So you've got the record, you've got user, you have a new one here, permissions. And I'll go ahead and click into permissions, and you can see we have the options for both custom permissions and standard permissions. So these are all the things that are already configured and set up. And you see here we just produced the list. So let me go back, and I'll show you standard permission. And here, of course, we know that we've got lots of them set up. So let's go ahead and just use some type ahead in order to find what we want. So let's go ahead and just pick one of the rules here. We'll hit done. And that's it. So now I've added a rule to it. What I can do is I can save, go back, and let's see what the experience is like in production. So my admin user does have access to it. But let's go ahead and use our login as functionality, and let's see what another user sees. So I'll log into this other user, and we'll go to that same page. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Sometimes we get demo fails, but we recovered, thankfully, gracefully, of course. And we see here that same record page that I was viewing with the admin that had the chatter feed on it now has disappeared because this particular user doesn't have that permission enabled for their user profile. So that component is behaving just like it should.
That's great. Another great way for admins to help control who sees what in different record pages in different parts of the app.
Absolutely, yes. It adds a whole lot more power and capabilities to be able to do this stuff. So we're pretty excited about shipping it, and it was absolutely one of the first things that I heard feedback from when we shipped dynamic pages. What about permissions? And I'm happy that we finally delivered it here.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see what people are going to do with it.
Yes.
Very, very great innovations this release. So thank you so much for sharing. All right, well, let's keep on rolling down the line. We've got more great, amazing features to share with you, admins, today. So Vlad, what do you have for us this release?
Well, as I mentioned today, we're going to talk about custom metadata types. and some new bonus material. So if you're watching us in summer release, you already heard about some of the things I talked about. But for those of you who never maybe heard about custom metadata types for admins, I just want to give a quick introduction what custom metadata types are all about. So custom metadata types is a special type of object we have at Salesforce that's specifically designed and implemented to store any sort of configurations for your application or for org. And best part of custom metadata types is that you can deploy records of custom metadata types between organizations. So if you did some configurations within your sandbox, you can pack everything within a change set and deploy it into production. So previously, for instance, you used custom object or custom settings, you always had to do that extra step after you deployed your app into production to go and create those records. And that was super annoying. Now we're adding some extra capabilities into custom metadata types to support admins even more. So last release, I talked about how we now can reference records of custom metadata types within validation rules. So you can make them completely configurable and powerful, and you can control execution of validation rules from one place. Now we're adding it support for formula fields, and that's not it. We have a big roadmap in front of us. And this is where forward-looking statement applies a lot. So as I mentioned, we delivered validation rules in summer 18 to GA. We deliver in formula field support in winter 19, and that's going straight to GA, so no more pilot. You can just go and check it out in your sandbox today. In spring 19, we have a big chunk of work ahead of us. We're planning to add support for default values on a field level and in the quick actions, as well as we're targeting to do a pilot for process builder. That was so far one of the most requested features by advanced admins, to have an ability to reference custom metadata types there. And hopefully we'll deliver it to GA in summer 19. So now I promise you some amazing and exciting stuff as well. So as a PM for a couple teams, I not only work on custom metadata types. And one of the things that we deliver in winter 19 as a pilot is a new capabilities that allow you to see all the references to your custom field within an org. And that is pretty cool. It started as an idea, shamefully 10 years ago. It gathered over 35,000 idea exchange points, and we're happy to deliver to pilot now. So with that capability, you can see where a particular field is referenced, like layouts or formula fields. So before you make any changes to that field, now you know what impact would be. So that's super helpful for admins. A lot of you, I know, used to try to delete the field to see even where that field is referenced. And that's scary. You don't want to do that, right? So now you can do it with a click of a button. And I'm going to show you some demo right now. So here in my org, I have a setup screen. Hopefully you're all familiar with that. And let's look into one of the fields that I have here. So that's called maximum discount. So that's a field on account to figure out what is a maximum discount we can provide to that account. And it's based on the total opportunity amount, which is another field I already created. And if you can see here, if opportunity amount is greater than 1 million, then we say we give that account maximum up to 20%. And otherwise, we give it a 10%. And that is okay, except if you use those values in multiple places, now you have the problem of maintaining those references. And that's not really cool. You have to remember to update them when policies changes. So that might be a little bit extra burden on you as an admin. So let's see how we can improve that with custom metadata types. So if you never use custom metadata types, you can find them in the setup. Just type custom metadata types. There's not any other thing like that. And I already created one. So it's called discount policy. And if you ever created a custom object, it looks super similar to custom object. It has standard and custom fields, and I have a few of them: maximum discount, opportunity amount, and if that policy is active. What is cool here is that button called Manage Discount Policy. It allows me to see all the records for that custom metadata type. And let's look at the one record. So I have a record called VIP Discount, which is 20% for opportunity amount over $1 million. So now let's go back to my custom formula field and update it to use custom metadata types. And just to show you that it still works the same, I created an account, and I was super creative. I called it my account. So you see the amount of closed opportunities is $2 million here. So the expected discount I want to see here is 20%. So once we switch it to custom metadata types, nothing should change, and that would be a success. So let's take a look. I was gonna go to my formula field. So maximum discount, let me edit that formula. And I'm gonna replace all hard-coded values with my custom metadata types. And all you need to do is click the dialog, find the $custom metadata types. You'll see all the list of metadata types you have. I only have one. And you can select the record. So it's a VIP discount and opportunity amount. I'm gonna insert that. And now I'm gonna replace 20% with that discount from the same record. Do the same exercise. Max discount, insert. And I'm gonna replace the last one, same way. Except this time, I will use my default policy, which has 10% there. Voila, as Francois would say. Here we go. Syntax works good. Let's save it. So now it looks scary, but you saw it. It's straightforward from out of a dialog. You don't need to memorize that syntax. And if you want to, you can totally do that too. And now if I refresh my account, and let's refresh this page, nothing should change. We will see again a 20% discount. Now let's look into something that I didn't show you quite yet. So in my setup, I'm gonna go to field that called is active. This is another field on custom metadata types. Wow, what is that? That is a new button you probably never saw before. This is where is used field functionality. And for my custom metadata types, I see that it's a part of layout and part of validation rules that I created actually for a release readiness called last release. So pretty cool. And that functionality works for custom fields on any types of objects, custom objects, standard objects, custom metadata types, and custom settings, as long as you have pilot enabled. And with that, let me just talk a little bit about what you can do next.
That's awesome.
So I invite everyone to check out Trailhead module. We have existing. It's a little bit developer-centric. There's still a lot of good information. We are working hard on bringing some admin-focused module for custom metadata types. And if you're coming for Dreamforce, which is less than 14 days away, come and join us at those 3 amazing sessions tailored specifically for admins who are new to custom metadata types and who want to take maximum benefit out of it. One of those sessions is mine, so I expect to see all of you there. So,
will you be wearing your outfit?
I will be wearing my outfit, and if you don't know what she's talking about, check out the Twitter and forward it to Parker.
Hashtag Fun Pants Friday,
Fun Pants Friday. So thank you very much.
Well, that's amazing, Vlad. Thank you for sharing. Now, Michael, you also had some great CTAs to help people learn some more.
Yes.
Which I think is just on the next slide there.
Okay, let's go ahead and go into the slide here.
You're going so fast. I was so excited. I wanted to keep learning about more.
So three things that I'm really excited to tell you about today. One is that if you go visit the Salesforce developers blog, we have some sample code there to go and build your own custom template. So for our eagle-eyed viewers out there that saw that template might have had a little thing to grab and show and hide certain sections, that code is actually something that we've published on the All About Custom Lightning Page Templates blog post. And trust me, admins, it's easy enough to do. I'm not a developer by trade, so I was able to copy and paste the code and create my own Lightning component that produced that template for me. So if you want a new template option, that's a great way to get started with it.
Even I can cut and paste, so
yes.
I feel like I can do that.
Absolutely, yes. And the other things I wanted to mention is Dreamforce. Yes, so Dreamforce is coming up, and we have a lot of great, exciting sessions. The first one that I want to mention is the future of app building without code. So I'm really excited about this one. We're going to show some awesome new pilot features, the Lightning Object Creator, which was something that was announced yesterday.
Amazing.
Yes.
It's game-changing for admins.
It is.
It really
so,
is.
Yeah, the fun part about this is you'll take a spreadsheet. You can go from spreadsheet to custom object just with a few clicks. You can do it in under a couple of minutes. It's an awesome feature, so I'm going to go and do a deep dive about that. And then the other stuff hasn't been announced yet, but I'll give you a little bit of a hint of what we're covering. So we're going to cover the future of mobile, and you're going to get a look at what the future of dependent page layouts looks like in Lightning. So we're excited to share that stuff. Please join me at that session if you're around. If not, we'll definitely post details, because the great part about it is it's all pilot stuff. So our friends out there will be able to get their hands on it at some point.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of that in the admin keynote as well. So.
Yes, absolutely. And the other one I want to mention is that Lightning customization best practices. So we get a lot of feedback that says, hey, you have some really great, awesome tools. How do we take advantage of it? Like, what are the best practices that you can share with us to help build better page experiences, build better end user experiences? So myself and another product manager and actually our principal UX engineer is going to join us for this one. We're excited. He's going to really drive a lot of the content and teach you about how to get that feedback from your users to go in and deliver awesome app experiences. So that one's also coming up, and we'll have content available for that one after the thing, so we're not going to leave people empty-handed, and we'll go in and we'll post that in the Trailblazer community. But super excited about these 2 sessions.
That's great. And you can, as always, you can learn more on Trailhead as well.
Absolutely.
Right? We have our whole Lightning Experience customization module that you can go through.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing. There's a lot of great stuff in there. I'm sure people are going wild for those features. Rachel, what kind of questions do we have coming in?
Okay, so before we tackle questions, there are some really fun tweets coming in today. Just wanted to take a minute and share these shout outs. So Brian Kwong is on Twitter with us this morning saying dynamic Lightning pages are awesome, all caps. And we also have Erica Gilbert saying, thank you for finally tackling this, to the bonus slide that Vlad shared of where is the field used. So really great feedback happening on social media this morning. And then for questions, starting at the top, we have what is the best way to get feedback on the new compact view? And that one's for Michael.
So the best way, I showed it in the demo, there is a feedback option within the help menu up on top, so your end users can go in and they can click that and get feedback directly. Our Salesforce product management team monitors that. And of course, you can always tweet us, or you can reach out to us in the Trailblazer community. We're all fairly active on there, and just, we want to know how we're doing and if we should include other options and just how successful your teams are with it. So yeah, let us know.
Don't be scared. Provide feedback. That's good.
All feedback, good feedback.
Awesome. So the next one we have is also for Michael, and says, will I need to do anything to page in App Builder to support compact views?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the nice part about it is that the compact view, it's all handled within the components themselves. So if you've done customizations with App Builder, you don't have to worry about going in and rebuilding things. Everything's just going to be handled automatically.
Automatically. It's my favorite term.
It is.
I like that. So moving forward for Vlad, we have how do I get into the pilot for where is this field used?
Yeah, so it works the same as for any other pilot that Salesforce did in the past. You have to reach out to your account executive and ask them to nominate you for this pilot. After that, they'll ask you a few questions, and we review your nomination, and hopefully you'll get accepted. Just a small reminder, this as a pilot, it only will be available for sandboxes and DE orgs, so we're not planning to enable it into any production orgs yet until we have until we're ready to move it to beta.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. As any pilot feature, but Sandbox is a good place to check it out for sure.
It's good that you're talking about a pilot feature, and you kind of look like a pilot today. So
I look like a pilot. You're always supposed to look like someone who knows how to ski.
Yeah. What else do we got, Rachel?
We also have for Vlad regarding the where is this field used. Does this show references within reports as either filter criteria or display configuration?
Yes, that one comes quite a lot even before we start digging into that feature. Reports are known problem right now that you can delete the field that is referenced in report and you'll get a broken report. Unfortunately, that is not yet supported in this pilot, but that's on top of our list. As this pilot will be progressing into GA, we'll be looking forward to bring report references into this functionality. So as for today, you would not see reports on that page, unfortunately.
But you're thinking about it, which would be really cool. That's awesome.
It's not just me thinking, it's a lot of people came and talked to me about reports specifically, even when we just start announcing or start mentioning that feature.
I bet. That's great. Well, cool. Great. Thank you.
So Jillian, do we have time for maybe one more?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So for Michael, we have, can I combine permission-based rules with other types?
You can. So the dynamic pages feature supports up to 10 rules. So you can use permissions, you can use rules based off of fields, based off the user objects. So yeah, you can up to 10, and it's fair game. All those are all fair game.
All right.
Yep.
So many rules. You can get really complex with
You
that. I
can, yeah. And I know some customers have, so yeah, definitely. Yes, they've taken advantage of it and tested it out for us. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Rachel, I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions before we move on to Francois.
Okay, sure. We have one here in the Trailblazer community. They're asking, are recurring events going to be available with this release?
Are recurring events going to be available with this release? Is that something you can take, Michael?
I don't know, but we can follow up with
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
we
I don't
sure
know
can.
offhand. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like things have been a little bit quieter. Just remember, everyone, if you jump on the Trailblazer community or on Twitter, use the hashtag Salesforce Live. I'll be watching and forwarding your questions along to our team over here. And we'll have time at the end, again, to tackle some of these deeper questions. So keep submitting them. I will keep watching.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. Now let's dig into the next category of this amazing Winter 19 release for admins, all about analytics. Francois, take us away.
Thank you very much. So it's really like an amazing release for us, to be honest with you. I will show it to you. First thing, so I really want to speak about Lightning Report Dashboard. You know, it's one of the most used features at Salesforce. Everybody is using it, especially our admin.
They look amazing.
Yes, they are. Like the Lightning version, they are outstanding, to be honest with you. And we are continuing to innovate in this area. We have a full team focusing on that, led by Michael Gonzalez. I want to really shout out to them. And so what they have delivered this release is first quick search. You know, you're on a report tab, you want to quickly find your report. Be able also to edit your join report directly in Lightning. You don't want to go back to Classic. Like, what is Classic first, right?
Woof.
I know. And also the report run page, right? To be able to drill down into report, to be able to filter, to be able to easily hide, show total, subtotal, very easily. And this is all inside the winter release. A pilot also coming up, subscriptions, Sometimes you don't want to put like all the people inside the subscriptions. That's why we are enabling with the roles and public group. And this is going to be a pilot for Winter 19.
Exciting.
Of course, there is more features. In the release notes, you would see like a long list of improvements. So no more reason to stay in Classic, especially for reports.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that's the number one reason I think people get the last push to move to Lightning is, wait, look how amazing this dashboard and these reports look.
Yes. And so the next topics I want to tackle is, about our advanced analytics capabilities. And this is really a very important release for us, where we are merging together Einstein Analytics and Einstein Discovery. So just to step back a little bit, first, why do you need Einstein Analytics? So just give you like 3 reasons as an admin. The first one is, if you are using Sales Cloud, and of course your salespeople may ask, I want to see my opportunity, but just not today, I want to see how they are flying around over the quarter, over the last year, or the difference. That's a reason why you will want to use Einstein Analytics, because you can do that. The second reason is, let's say you are Service Cloud customers, you have data, everywhere, not just in Salesforce. So if you want to bring this all together to give like a real view to your customers, about what's happening, then with Einstein Analytics, you have connectors. You can prepare your data, so you can bring in everything all together in Salesforce and mix it, of course, with Salesforce information.
Nice.
And the last one is, you have so many information in Salesforce, and you're, as an admin, you get a lot of questions about, what is driving my churn? How can you help me to understand, for example, what also is driving my win rate on my opportunities, right? And for that, you will need intelligence. And so part of Einstein Analytics, you have Einstein Discovery, which is really here to help you to surface this trend and this insight. So now I really would like to show you a little bit of a demo and see how it looks like in Winter 19. So if I go to the demo, you can see my screen here with Lightning Sales, and I'm on my Analytics tab. And one big thing that we did in Winter 19 is templates. It's how to make it easy to start with analytics with very narrowed down applications. So when we launched analytics a couple years ago, we went with sales and service. And now we are releasing more than 24 templates that are really targeted for specific use cases. So for example, change analytics, if I go here, you can really see what happened with your case, how many changes had happened over time. For example, here is a group by product. You can see the average duration by stage. You can see how the data are flying from one stage to another one really easily. For example, if I click here on escalated, I can see where the escalated case go back. In new, which is not so great, in close, which is better. So, like, very targeted and easy app to create. Another one, which is pretty cool, that I like, is a lead trending analytics. So the same, to be able to understand more what happened in your lead, how many times you spend in each status, how many times the owner took to manage them also. So again, very targeted applications. And the beauty of this application, it looks pretty nice first, I think, right? I don't know.
It's beautiful.
It's a bias, but it's how you create them. To create them, you just go to Analytics Studio. You create an app. You can see here, select from template. And here you can see all the list of templates. So please spend time, see the one that will work for you, that will answer use case you may have from your users as an admin. So if I go for lead analytics, if I click here, let me show you how it is easy to create. First, you will see a nice picture about how it looks like before even you create it. All the Salesforce objects we are going to use to create this dashboard. Then if you like it, you can click continue. And here's really where it's special, because now it was pretty fast, but basically we are running a lot of tests to know how you are using Salesforce, so that we can create the application that really match what you are doing and how did you set up, customize your Salesforce organizations. I like it, it's great. I'm just going to give a name. And here, Astro is going to run, and Astro is going to work to create the applications. And this, at the end of the process, you will see exactly what I showed you previously. So pretty nice. Now, something else I want to show you, and this is really important for me, is how we was able to bring intelligence into analytics. So we launched a product, Einstein Discovery, more than a year ago. It was on different stack. So, it's great, but not perfect. So we really wanted to integrate it and make it part of analytics. So that's what we did in this release. And now, how it looks like. So let's say I'm a customer, I'm an admin, I want to understand what is driving churn in my business. So here I have my data set, all my customers, I can see the one who churn, the one who don't churn. And I can start to manually explore that. For example, if they have online backup option, is it driving more or less the fact they will churn? But this, is very empiric. You have to go, you have to try. It may take a lot of times. So that's why you may want to ask your friend Astro. Actually, Einstein, sorry, not Astro. So many characters, yeah, friends. So if I ask Einstein here, on the same data set I'm using for analytics, just create story, ask my business question, what you want to do. I want minimize churn. As you can see, I can ask any type of question on my data set. Review the setting, and create the story. And here now is Einstein who is working, not Astro, and he's going to write what are the variables that are driving churn, and also he's going to create a predictive model behind the scene to be able to predict churn for the future customers. So this is going to take about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to go to a story I just created before. And you can see here now, it's the same feature that we have in Einstein Discovery, except now it's really like the same experience, completely integrated, the same charting engine. It feels like one product, which is really one product. And so, same feature as before, you can see contract, explain variation of churn. So it's really about pointing you out about what you should know in your data. It's not about just what happened. You can ask also more questions like why. Why, for example, months to months have so much high churn. I click on months to months, I have all my insight for months to months, and I can switch to why it happened. And now I have a clear description of all the variables that have an impact on my churn for months to months. So very detailed, very precise. And you can then share this with your business, in customer service or VP of sales to tell them hey, this is what's happening and this is how you can fix it. But even better, you can do prediction now. So let's say I have somebody who is having a contract, 1-year contract. He's not a senior citizen. He have internet DSL service. Now I can see exactly for this type of characteristic, what will be the predicted churn of 8 points. And also, how can I improve that? So for example, let's say that I can run a campaign to change the payment method. So now if I do that, here I can see which payment method will have the biggest impact on churn for this specific characteristic. So now you can see, for example, that if I use a bank transfer, this is the one that will produce a less churn for my customers. But this is great again. If you're a little bit more nerdy, we are exposing as much as data as we can. So really, for the people who know a little bit more, all the metrics about the models we have generated. And also, what is really important is how you can share all this insight with everybody in your company. So that's why we also, you can deploy the model to score every contact. So let's see, it's a contact, Adam K. I want to know what is the churn, predicted churn for these specific customers. You can see on my screen, I have no predictions. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to deploy this model right here. Up, I click. I'm going to deploy the model on contact object because it's the one that I want to use. Add filter, up. I want to say what kind of influence with this person. So payment method, I can change it. And contract. Here, click review, deploy. So again, now we are taking the model we have created and we are storing it inside Salesforce. And if I go back to my record and I refresh, I can have access to my churn, which is deployed. So for these specific customers, I know exactly what is the churn, why, and what can I do to improve it. So for example, here, Einstein tell me like, if it's going for the 2 years contract, it's going to be much better. I can do it right here. 2 years contract, save it. And again, we are going to refresh the churn because of this new information we get. It's real time, served from Salesforce. It's available also via triggers, so you can store it in field and create rules and so on. So that's really bringing a discovery inside analytics, which is great. But everybody's using report, right? You are using report every day.
Every day.
Every
I love
day.
the report builder. It's
So
my favorite.
That would be pretty cool to have this kind of capabilities in report, right? So I have a secret for you. We did it. So now if I go to my report here, so this report is about quotes. And you can see here all my quotes, all the discount part quotes. And again, if I want to know what is driving discount, is it specific product, specific customers? If you want to do that, it will be cumbersome. You will have to extract, explore in Excel, do pivot tables. So that's why we have this button now, Einstein Data Inside. I click on this button, and we are going to run the story. Einstein is going to look at it and extract you what is the most interesting insight for him. The first is a count analysis, so counting the number of transactions, bucketed by size of discount. What I'm more interested here is really what is driving discount. So I'm just changing to discount. And now I can see like customer type is really like driving discount. And also I can see that when the product is IoT, you can see that the discount is a little bit different. You can zoom in and have the full exploration of that. So really bringing like, these kind of capabilities to everywhere we can in analytics. And last thing I want to show you is really something interesting about how we also embed help. Because this can be a little bit intimidating, right? So that's why we have the welcome mat, something that will arrive the first time you go in the product to show you all the video and insights about how to launch the product. And also one of my favorite features is sometimes you are in the product, you see a feature like conversational queries where you can ask your data, you don't really know how it's working. I can launch a video right from here that will tell me exactly how it's working. You don't have to go somewhere else. It's really like contextual help. So that's all the new features that we have in the Winter 19 highlight of it. Here's a summary on the slide. So, bringing AI to analytics with discovery, with Einstein Data Inside, making simpler for admin with 24 templates and more features. And we'll have a deep dive on Monday on the live streaming sessions. More data also with more connectors. You can bring data now from S3, Google Analytics, SAP HANA. And finally, for Trailblazers, how all this, we can help people to start the journey of analytics. So all in the Winter 19. And if you want to know more, we have an amazing trail mix where you can go over all the trail, learn everything about Einstein Analytics and Einstein Discovery. And of course, Dreamforce. Dreamforce is coming up, I guess, right?
Yeah, you
14
just
days. I heard about it.
soon, around the corner.
Yeah, no big deal. And so we have a lot of sessions. Our keynote is Thursday. You can go there, learn a lot from customers, explaining how they are using it. So please go there. And of course, for those who don't go there, a lot of sessions are like live, so you can watch them directly in stream.
That's excellent. I know a lot of sessions are recorded as well, so you can watch the replays and all that. I mean, gosh, it doesn't sound like you did anything to prepare for this release. It's a pretty light release for you, huh?
It's a big team, a lot of product manager, a lot of investment. Yes.
I'm glad I'm wearing a scarf because it's so cool. I'm getting chills.
But you need to fix the report stuff with change field, like the where to.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh.
That's a good thing you guys are sitting next to each other, right? Here we go.
Talk about it.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for all those innovations. I mean, that was great. I think for any admin who's kind of toying with the idea of how to take analytics to the next level, I mean, as an admin, that like Einstein Analytics, the stuff you can do is just...
Yeah, especially the template, really helping you to start, without too burning the ocean. Start focusing on one use case with a template is, I think, the best, things that people can start with.
Well, and your contextual help too. That'll really help kind of people get up to speed. That's great. Well, thank you.
We just reached actually 20,000 people on the community, helping each other. So the community also is amazing.
That's great. Well, we are very familiar with how amazing the community is. All right, so moving on, because that's not all. We have way more to talk about. Jason, tell us about the world of automation. What's happening for admins this release?
We've got a lot that's happening in this release, Julian. I just want to start out with a big shout out and a how's it to our Flow Hana out there that is listening to our webinar today. I want to say mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much for all of your support. Without all of your support, we wouldn't be able to build this great product. And I have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot of great announcements, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, we have so many announcements that you probably want to tune into our platform RRL next Tuesday, where my colleague Alex Edelstein will be continuing the plethora of announcements we'll be making in our process automation section. But without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the demos because we've got a lot that we want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the ability to actually run a flow as a guest user inside of a community. So if you look at this community page here, you'll note that I'm not actually logged in anywhere. If I go into one of these flows, I'm actually running this flow as a guest user. So you could use this in a number of different ways. You can use it for, say, saving contact information. You could use it for, say, placing order or something. In this case, we're talking about something like being able to order a credit card. So really, really cool stuff. Guest user usage in communities for Flow. Really, really cool. And yet another feature we're adding for winter. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about approvals. We've received a lot of feedback from the customer community that they want to be able to see approvals that are assigned to a queue in the Lightning experience. So let's take a look at that. We've gone ahead and I've created a lead here called Custard Mochi. For you guys who don't know, Custard Mochi is a delectable dessert that you can get when you're in the Hawaiian Islands. I highly recommend it, also known as butter mochi. My sister makes a great butter mochi, by the way. And let's go ahead and say we want to submit for approval this Custard Mochi lead. So we have to make a comment. I'm going to say this is Ono Grinds. If you don't know what Ono Grinds are, Ono means tasty in Hawaiian, and Grinds is pretty much self-explanatory, I think. Okay, so we submit for approval. We want to go ahead and use a queue now. I have a demo queue set up. Pick that demo queue, click Submit. And we have in our approval history here that was actually assigned to the demo queue. You can now see it. If I go ahead and click on the approval request that's here, you can also see that it's been assigned to the demo queue. So there you go. You can now actually see queue assignments to approvals in the Lightning experience. Another great ad we have for Winter 19. But wait, there's more. So let's keep moving. The next piece is around Process Builder. A lot of our customers ask us what to do about the best practice that we provide, saying that our recommendation is that you should only have as one or as few processes per object in Process Builder when you go ahead and build them out. But a lot of our customers are saying, well, I don't really know how many processes I have against an object. Perhaps these are already pre-built or built by other teams, etc. Well, in Winter, we now have this capability. I'm going to create a new process here and call it Shave Ice. Because shave ice is really another tasty dessert you can get in Hawaii. My favorite shave ice stand is actually on Waiola Street in Honolulu. If you're ever there, check it out. It's definitely worth the trip.
You're making all of us want to go to Hawaii.
Well, that is the purpose. We are talking about winter here, and just for the record, this is Hawaiian winter with the Aloha shirt. And I'm sure all my friends in the Southern Hemisphere would agree to me that that's what winter looks like. I'm going to go ahead and add this to account. So when I want to go ahead and add this shave ice process to account, I now get an alert saying that this account already has a number of active record change processes against it. These are the names of the processes, so you can go ahead and take a look at them. We also identify whether or not the process is part of a managed package, so then you know where and when it was actually installed. So really great add here to just basically let you know how many processes you have against an object. This will allow you the opportunity to potentially streamline. Maybe you'll want to add to a different process rather than creating a new process. A lot of possibilities in using this functionality. And we're going to go ahead and keep rolling here. The next thing that I want to show you guys is a new announcement we have, which if you look at the lower third of your screen right now, we launched yesterday a brand new Flow Solutions category in the AppExchange store. So this is really cool. What it is a bunch of our partners have gotten together and built components and other flow actions, we call them, that you can then install and drag and drop from the palette into the Flow canvas directly from the Flow store. A lot of great stuff here. For example, you can use ChargeInt to actually use Stripe to take a credit card payment, get feedback, the ability to embed a survey inside of a flow. Velocity to run OmniScript. You've got two solutions here for embedding videos. Workato for doing a backend NetSuite connection if you want. TaskRay for project management. 7 Summits is great. Say some great stuff around slide sharing, as well as we have social engagement, LinkedIn, other sort of social media. All really, really great stuff. Like I said, launched yesterday. We're getting new partners in and new components in every single day. So it's really exciting. You should definitely check it out. Now, of course, I know you're asking, okay, that makes sense. I get these flow actions. What do I do with them? What does it look like? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Here I have the same flow that I just showed you in the guest user community use case. If you install a flow action, they typically either show up as, say, a local action, or in this case with Workato, these would be Apex or external services style actions that you can do the callouts to third-party systems, or you would also get them as screen components. So if I open a screen here, and I go ahead and say I want to add a field, and I select Lightning component, and bring it over here, I can go ahead now and select from this list of Lightning components these installed flow actions that we have. I'm going to go ahead and do this for real, so I'm going to call this one Portuguese sausage, eggs, and rice. For those of you who don't know, Portuguese sausage, eggs, and rice is a very popular Hawaiian breakfast. A little bit of soy sauce, very tasty. It's so popular, in fact, you can get it at Mickey D's. Again, if you're ever in Hawaii, I definitely recommend you check that out. All right, so we've got a bunch of components here. One of the things you might have noticed is we have a few new components out of the box that are labeled with Flow Runtime, such as this toggle switch here. I don't have time to get into that right now, but that's something that my colleague, again, Alex Adelstein, will be covering on Tuesday with the platform RRL. A number of great new screen components out of the box you can simply drag and drop to create your screen flows. So definitely check that out next Tuesday. So here, I'm going to go ahead and use the ChargeInt Flow Stripe Charger component. It's really simple. You go ahead and select the component. There are a number of attributes that you need to go ahead and fill out. And you need to pass this sort of, if you want, you can pass these as variables, or you can actually have the customer fill them out on the screen. The usual things that you would need for a credit card, the card number, the zip code, the name, etc., the CVC code. I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens when you pre-fill this one. So when something's really good, you can say it's onokai grinds, or after you eat it, typically you say it broke them out, which means it really tastes that good. So this one we're going to say broke them out. Oh, sorry. And I need to get rid of the outputs because it's a demo, so we don't need to pass that back for now. I save this as a new version. And as soon as I'm done saving, I can go ahead and run it in our handy-dandy debugger, which debuted recently. Run with the flow inputs. And as you can see here on the screen, this is the original flow that I had. I went ahead and dropped the component in. I can go ahead and now accept credit card payments straight from my flow. It's that simple. It all happens in minutes. Really, really exciting. You can not only take one of these flow actions, but you can take multiple ones, string them together in your flow, end up with a lot of really great functionality built out within your flow screens. So that's really, really cool. And again, check out that Flow store. It just launched yesterday, and we're getting more and more flow actions in there every single day. Cool. So let's switch over to the presentation, talk a little bit about what I just went through. So the feature highlights for winter, we have the guest user flows, where you can launch flows in the community as a guest user. We have approvals assigned to a queue in the Lightning experience. Now show up. We have process builder processes on an object. For the record, we call them process builder processes for a selected object when you go ahead and select that object in building out a new process builder process. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the brand new Flow Solutions category on the App Exchange. Definitely check that out with the short form URL. For additional information, we have our trailhead to automate your business processes with Lightning Flow. We have a number of other trailheads. You can go ahead and find those all in that section. And we have a bunch of Dreamforce sessions coming up if you happen to be attending Dreamforce. Sections around app dev with Lightning Flow, Lightning Components with Lightning Flow, Flow Actions. You can see more demos of these specific Flow Actions with Lightning Flow, empowering your admins to extend your Lightning flows. And then my personal favorite, orchestrations and integrations for app dev on the Lightning platform. It's my favorite because I'm the one presenting it. And so I expect all of our Flow HANA to be there and actually provide me some of the support. So I really appreciate that. So that's all we've got, but I did mention in the beginning that I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something that you may not have ever seen before, and in point of fact, I think a lot of people haven't ever seen before. So if we hop back to the demo screen here, I am going to go ahead and open a flow with the very interesting flow icon here. And when I open the flow, this is our brand new flow builder. So as you can see, it's really cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the canvas. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. You can go ahead and pan around. It's really, really nifty. The icons work really well. They are in fitting, the overall design experience fits with the Lightning design system. A lot of the icons are BPMN inspired, so that way it's really easy to understand how they actually work. The drag and drops work extremely well. The dynamicism around the nodes is fantastic. There's a lot of great stuff here that you can do. We're also doing a new screen builder, so it makes it a lot easier to go ahead and put components on screens just by dragging and dropping them there, and you can go out and fill out all that information. So lots of exciting stuff happening with the Flow Builder. You guys got to see it first right here on Admin RRL Preview, and we just look forward to being able to get this out in the wild.
That's amazing. Thank you for that sneak peek. I am sure everyone is really excited, especially, did you say Flow HANA? Because
Yes.
that was great.
That is our Flow HANA. Everybody who's involved in Flow is part of the Flow HANA.
I love it. Well, yeah, so that new Flow Designer tool is amazing, but that's not coming with winter, correct?
That's correct. This is something we're targeting for GA in spring.
Excellent. Okay, so keep it in your mind. Flow is getting a redesign. That's really amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So many amazing things that all of you have shared. We have some questions that are bubbling up that we'd love to ask and get some answers for. Rachel, what's coming in?
Hey, so we have so much love for the new Flow store. There are just a flood of tweets. Everybody is so excited about Flow. So that's really fun to see. And then we're also getting some questions. If we go back to Francois' section, we have our templates included in the Einstein Analytics license.
Yeah, so basically every new template that we are creating, because today you have like 24, and we are going to create more and more, and all new template will be integrated if you have the license of Einstein Analytics. There is one or two that are more like exception, of course, as usual. So B2B marketing, for example, or event monitoring, you need to have special options from event monitoring team or B2B marketing to be able to have access to the template.
That makes sense. Makes sense. That's awesome.
Great. So for Jason, we have, are there updates to the actions list? What if I don't know? What if I don't want to use it in a service console?
That's a really good question. So yes, there are a number of updates to action list component. I didn't have time to show them here. That's definitely something to check out Tuesday at the platform RRL. We're doing a lot of great things where it makes it more configurable. And I think a lot of people don't know this, but the action list is actually part of platform. So you don't actually need to have a Service Cloud license. You don't need to be a Service Cloud user to go ahead and use it. We think it's a great way to take a page and go ahead and be able to take particular flows that you actually want to launch from that page. And with the additional configurable functionality, you can actually pin different flows you want to ensure that certain flows are launched and run in association with that page. So definitely check that out on Tuesday. Really, really cool stuff.
Amazing. Amazing. Rachel, I think I see a couple more questions coming in. You want to
Yeah,
feed those to us?
absolutely. So are there any new out-of-the-box screen components available in Flow?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned one of them when I was going ahead and looking at that Lightning component dropdown. Again, check it out on Tuesday. We've got, I think, 5 coming winter and with more in the pipeline. The really great thing about these out-of-box screen components is, a lot of our sort of viewers and admins ask us, how do I create these really visually engaging flows? We make these great demos, et cetera. Well, one way to do it is to actually use these screen components. If you take the screen components and put them in, you can get the visual experience you want. And if you combine that with the flow actions that are now available with our flow solutions on the App Exchange, the sky's the limit, basically.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit more about that flow options on the App Exchange. I mean, this is amazing. This is a whole new way. I mean, I think as an admin, one of the most intimidating parts of Flow is that you have to build everything yourself, right? And so now you can kind of plug and play pieces into that. Tell us a little bit about, you described some of the great solutions that are already up there. If I maybe am an admin who's created this really cool piece of a flow, how do I go about maybe including that in this amazing flow store?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's basically the same process you'd have in any other sort of addition to the App Exchange. You can go ahead and package those up, and then you can publish them out to the App Exchange. So the Flow Solutions is actually not exclusive to the Flow actions themselves. We are eventually going to look at being able to prepackage flows and other sort of industry vertical related sort of material that's within the package. So it's really going to have a lot of different particular, and that's why we call it the Flow Solutions Store, solutions for actually being able to build out flows.
That's great. So Flow HANA, get ready.
It's all for the Flow HANA.
I love it. Rachel, do we have any other questions that we can get to our product experts here?
Absolutely. So speaking of Flow HANA, Jason Teller, can you talk about any expected news on the scheduled actions queue, or AKA paused interviews?
So I think that's something that we've actually been looking into. The reality is that on the number of assessments that we've done, we actually have to build out quite a bit of functionality now to support that. Persisting that data is something that doesn't actually exist today. And so it turns out that the cost is rather high, and we're doing more investigation into that before we can sort of respond with what we can do that in a particular area. It's sort of interesting. One of the sort of the technical challenges there is that scheduled actions and paused interviews are handled differently. So what you're trying to do is to provide similar information for actually 2 different features, and that also makes it kind of challenging.
Got it. Rachel, I am seeing some questions come in for some of our other PMs as well.
Cool. Yeah, take it away, Jillian.
Yeah. So one of the questions that came up that I think is a great question, Vlad, this is for you. Will custom metadata types be available for platform event processes as drop-down criteria, and when Process Builder availability comes released in pilot? Is that on the roadmap?
That's we're looking into anywhere where there's a formula context. So if in a process builder where you can specify a specific formula that will be part of process builder, that's where we're going to inject custom metadata types first.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yay, I love it.
And if you have any more use cases for us, you can always find me at Dreamforce and talk about them, because I've been for quite a few people already about when custom metadata types are going to be available in that feature or in this feature.
Right. So look for Vlad in the fun pants.
Yes.
So there's also some fun questions that I saw come in for you, Michael.
Okay.
One of the things is talking about kind of this compact layout. Well, compact layout and then density, right? So
yes.
Let's talk a little bit. Can you give us, I know some people who were in Classic are really excited about kind of this idea to make your things more dense.
Right.
What would be a reason for maybe, are you seeing that people that have a lot of stuff on a page, that makes more sense for them to do them more dense? Or do you actually, what are you kind of seeing people get excited about use case-wise for that?
Yeah, so one of the big drivers was that people went in and they saw it, and they're used to seeing their pretty long record details in Classic, right, even for the longer layouts, and they felt that things were just a little bit more scrunched up. They knew exactly where to go on the page because they knew what that user experience was like. And so what this helps someone do, an admin or an end user that's going to configure it, is have that more classic-like experience. So they can go in and have something that's a little bit more familiar because the labels are now on one side, and it helps make things a bit more dense. So it does crunch the data up a little bit more, but then overall you're going to do less scrolling in order to go find what you're looking for.
Right, less scrolling, less space, but
yes.
Yeah. So it kind of depends on
Yeah.
your visual preferences, if you will.
And that's
right?
why we give you a choice,
Yeah.
right? So if you want things to be a little bit more spread out and open, you have the default comfy view, or you can always switch to the other one. So you get a choice, which is actually kind of nice.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Rachel, do you have any more questions coming in that we can field to our experts here?
Yeah, I'm just seeing one now that says, is the new flow builder that was demoed on HTML5 or is it still Flash-based?
That's a good question. It is not Flash-based. I'm sure you're happy to hear. So yeah, because one of the reasons we can't use the Cloud for Designer is because Flash is being end-of-lifed. So no worries about that.
We're coming with the innovations to match everybody else. I love it. I'm really excited for that. I think that's really going to be a game changer. Another thing that you showed that I thought was really incredible was the idea of seeing which other processes are on the object. I mean, it was in the demo that you showed. It was kind of quick, but I think that's going to be also a huge game changer for people who are building many processes. I mean, that's awesome. So
yeah, it's definitely one of the feedback points we had from a number of customers was that especially if you have an org that's been around for a while. When you come in to build something new, it'd be great to know, because a lot of people have been working on that org, like what are the associated processes for that particular object.
Well, and I think on that note, Vlad, your feature about where is this field used, I think those two things together are really powerful admin time savers.
That's actually to address pretty similar concept, right? If you had an org for like 15 years, you probably switch generations of admins right now and developers, and you don't know actually what's going on with your org. So where this field use is just one step in that direction, and we're actually working on the API for that as well. So API would be a little bit more extend than just a custom field.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's got so many fun, great things for admins. I'm really excited. Francois, when we talk about Einstein Analytics, I think for a lot of probably admins, it's the first time they're thinking about using Einstein Analytics. And so you showed some great ways for, reasons for people to think about it. If I'm kind of a brand new admin, what would be the best way for you to tell me, hey, this is the number one thing that you should think about using Einstein Analytics for?
Like the easiest first step would be like really turn it on, look the template. For example, we have one which is about approval processes, where you can really understand all the approval process in your system, to who has been assigned, how many times it's been sitting in each queue, and so on. And these are very concrete use cases that are really easy to deploy, very point and click, and it's really like a nice way to start and to see like the top of the iceberg per se, and to start the journey in analytics. And of course, the trailheads are also really amazing on that.
Right. Well, and you say point and click, and I think
Yes.
that's one of the things that I think is really important when we think about Einstein Analytics. Like, this is a tool that any admin can use.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't require you knowing how to code.
To be fair with you, right? At the beginning, it was not the case, and I think that we work a lot, and now we really have like a point-and-click UI where you can, grab multiple Salesforce objects, grab external data, mix them together, create dashboard with point-and-click. So we have made like so many efforts in this area. And so Amruta Mokhtari is leading this effort. The team spent so many times that now, really we are able to say you can really do it with point and click. And I know sometimes it's hard to change people's minds. So give it a try, because I joined Analytics 4 years ago at the beginning, and I can tell you it's a completely different product. So much evolution has happened.
That's great. Well, and it's all because of you, right? You did that.
I wish, but no.
The Francois effect.
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, that's great though. But I think that's really important to really think about, hey, if you maybe looked at this in the past, let's take a re-examining of it,
Yes.
kind of reapproach it.
It's usually when we show it to customers, it's the first feedback. Oh, I saw it some years ago. Gosh, it's a different product. So
yeah.
We are so happy when we hear this type of information. And so yes, you should try it.
I love it. That's great. Let's see, Rachel, do we have anything else kind of fun coming in from the community before we start to wrap up here?
We sure do. We have so much fun coming in on Twitter. I was just checking a tweet that says, new flow builder is like confetti, so bright, so shiny, so colorful. And on that same note, there have been quite a few tweets about Lightning Flow Builder easing people's OCD when they work in Salesforce. That seems to be a common theme here. So we have a lot of really fun GIFs on this Salesforce Live hashtag. I encourage everybody to check that out later. They're really praising Lightning Flow Builder. So anything else that we can share that our community might get out of Lightning Flow Builder, just a little tidbit, would probably be helpful because it seems everybody's really excited about that.
That's what you get for showing something that's like even more than one release.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I would say that, I mean, if you can manage, if you do have the privilege of coming to Dreamforce, that's definitely something we'll be talking more about there, and you'll be seeing more in the months to come.
Excellent. And speaking of fun Dreamforce announcements, you hinted at some amazing things that are coming, Michael, in Lightning Land.
Yes.
Think Object Creator.
Yeah, we're really excited about that, about the Object Creator and the next generation of layouts. So you'll see more at Dreamforce. It'll be featured in a few of the keynotes. And then after that, we'll follow up with even more content. And like I said, we definitely want to get our community's hands on these products since they will be pilot. We need you to use it and get feedback back to us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, reminder, forward-looking statement.
Absolutely.
A lot of these things are beyond
Forward-looking
winter, but we showed you an amazing amount of great Winter 19 content. Congratulations to you and all of your teams. You've really done an amazing job delivering some really, truly awesome admin features this release. So I really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you for joining us today and having some fun with our Aloha Friday and giving us a lesson on all things Hawaii.
Yes.
That was great. Now I want some shave ice, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go to McDonald's in Hawaii, but...
You probably, if you ever get stuck, maybe, but yeah. You can also go to Zippy's. That works too.
Zippy's, okay, that's good to know. I hope everyone's taking notes. We're gonna have you should create a trailhead module on Jason Teller's tour of Hawaii.
I could probably create a flow, I think.
There you go. There you go. That's what I want to see in the next demo. Excellent. Well, just as a reminder, we have great resources to help you get up to speed on the release. So if we can actually go to the next slide, we've got some great resources to get you ready for Winter 19, which is coming right around the corner. As we mentioned, there is more Release Readiness Live. That's not a tongue twister at all. Release Readiness Live is going to be live all week next week. Deep dives into many of the products that you just heard about today. So make sure you tune in. As always, there's our module on Trailhead, our amazing snowboard Astro as our little badge there. So make sure you take advantage of those resources. And we talked a little bit about Dreamforce coming up around the corner. So on the next slide, we wanted to remind you that admins, if you're coming to Dreamforce, or even if you're not, join us for the awesome admin keynote. So it's the first thing kicking off your Dreamforce experience. It's going to be 11 a.m. on Tuesday, September 25th. That's Pacific time. So don't worry, if you're not attending Dreamforce, you can also stream it live. And you're going to want to do that because our very own Parker Harris is going to be kicking it off. He's near and dear to the admin heart, I know. And then we've got the original button-click admin himself, Mike Gerholt, and Mary Scotton, our rockstar evangelist of all things, and myself, giving the admin keynote. Well, you got to promote your team members. But we're telling 3 real-life customer stories of admins in companies using many of the features that we talked about today and some features that are coming in the future to really demonstrate how you can be an awesome admin superhero at your company. So don't miss it. Thanks again for everyone for joining us today. We're super excited to see what you're going to do with Winter 19. And until next time, we'll catch you in the cloud.